All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about one of the biggest villains in our modern diet, added sugar. But forget about just calories and cavities for a minute. We're going way beyond that. We're going deep inside. Look, we all know that feeling, right? That little voice saying, maybe you don't need that second cookie. But if you really ask yourself why, the answer is usually about gaining weight. Well, let me tell you, that's not even half the story. The real damage is so much deeper, and honestly, it's kind of fascinating. That's right. The main event, the real conflict, is this microscopic war for territory being waged inside your digestive system every single day. And the choices you make for lunch? Yeah, they decide who wins. So, to understand this battle, you've got to meet the players. Let's talk about your inner ecosystem, your gut microbiome. It's almost impossible to wrap your head around this. You're hosting trillions with a T of these tiny little organisms. And this isn't some kind of invasion, it's a partnership. A balanced microbiome is absolutely crucial for keeping your body in what scientists call homeostasis. Think of it as your body's perfect happy place, where everything is just in balance. And this really shows you just how important they are. I mean, these microbes are basically co-pilots for your body. They help run the whole show. They're tweaking your metabolism, coaching your immune system, keeping your digestion running smoothly. They even act like tiny bodyguards, fighting off germs. They are your microscopic allies. So in this microscopic world, you've basically got two opposing teams. On one side, you have the good guys, the beneficial bacteria. They absolutely love munching on things like fiber, and in return, they produce these amazing compounds that heal and protect your gut. Then, you've got the other team, the troublemakers, and their favorite food, simple sugars, and all they do is cause inflammation and chaos. So these two sides are supposed to be in a delicate balance. But what happens when we introduce a saboteur? Okay, here comes the plot twist, where we see how sugar just completely rigs the game. This right here, this is the key. Most people don't know this, but every single time you eat something loaded with added sugar, you're not just feeding yourself. Nope. You are personally delivering a 5-star meal directly to the worst, most harmful residents living in your gut. And you can see exactly how it plays out. First, that wave of sugar hits your system. Instantly, those troublemaker bacteria just go crazy. They start multiplying like wildfire. And as they take over, they literally crowd out all the good guys, basically starving them of space and food. Now, this imbalance has a name. It's called dysbiosis. And it is a huge problem. Because with the troublemakers now running the show, they start causing some serious damage, creating this constant low-level inflammation right on the super-sensitive lining of your gut. I want you to picture your gut lining as a perfectly sealed brick wall. Well, inflammation acts like acid, dissolving the mortar between those bricks. Those seals are what scientists call tight junctions, and as they weaken, that whole wall, your body's main line of defense, starts to get leaky. So, what happens if that protective barrier, that critical wall, finally starts to break down? Well, the consequences don't just stay in your gut. Oh no, they go body-wide. And this is where the story gets really, really serious. Because once that gut barrier is breached, your entire body gets thrown into a state of crisis. This is the fallout. Through those new gaps in your gut wall, stuff starts leaking into your bloodstream that should never, ever be there. We're talking about bacterial fragments and their toxic byproducts, things called endotoxins, which are just incredibly inflammatory. Your immune system sees these invaders floating around in your blood, and it sounds the alarm. But here's the problem. Because the gut is always leaking, the alarm never, ever turns off. This is the very definition of chronic body-wide inflammation, like a low-grade fire that's constantly smoldering and damaging your tissues. And the list of problems just grows from there. It starts where the fire began, in the gut, with that constant inflammation being a key driver of things like irritable bowel syndrome. Just a total recipe for digestive chaos. Then, that body-wide inflammation starts messing with your hormones, the ones that control hunger and tell you when you're full. When those get all out of whack, it can directly lead to weight gain and even obesity. But it doesn't stop there. That same inflammation makes your body's cells less responsive to insulin, which is the hormone that manages your blood sugar. That's called insulin resistance, and it's a one-way ticket towards metabolic problems and type 2 diabetes. Meanwhile, your poor liver is working overtime trying to clear all these toxins from your blood, while also dealing with all that excess sugar. It gets so overwhelmed, it just starts storing fat internally. This is a really dangerous condition known as fatty liver disease. And finally, that smoldering chronic fire of inflammation is just terrible for the delicate lining of your blood vessels. Over the years, that damage causes plaque to build up, which dramatically increases your risk for heart attacks and strokes. It's just a devastating chain reaction, and it all started with a little bit of sugar in the gut. So after seeing that whole cascade of damage, it's pretty clear we need to reframe how we think about sugar. We need a totally new perspective. Here's the most important takeaway. The real problem isn't just sugar itself. It's that sugar is a weapon that sabotages your body's defenses from the inside out. It takes your most important allies, your own gut bacteria, and turns them into enemies, fueling a civil war that damages your body system by system. So let's end with this one thought. If you imagine your gut is a garden, everything you eat is either water for the beautiful flowers or it's fertilizer for the weeds. And that leaves us with one simple question to ask ourselves. What have you been watering?